Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and it feels like just yesterday Godot 4.7 released, and now it's time for our favorite activity, waiting for Godot. That would be Godot 4.8, because we now have the first dev release of that out. Now, dev releases basically are where we start adding new features that we can expect to see in the next version of Godot. Each one of these dev releases, I think we get like 5 or 6 each new release most of the time. They add the new features that we can expect to see in the next version. Eventually, then we will go into beta, release candidate, and then it will ship. So now we're going to see the first new features we are going to expect in Godot 4.8. I'm going to go hands-on with Godot, and then we'll come back to release notes. But first, heads up, if you are a Godot developer, which I assume many of you are because you are watching this video, and you want to learn more about Godot, over on Bundle Foundry, they actually have a GameDev TV bundle that just launched. This is, again, GameDev TV, great creator. You see here, if you want to learn how to program with Godot, you're getting a number of different courses here. The big thing I want to point out with Bundle Foundry, they actually have a free tier. So if you want to see what the courses are like, you could jump here and get Getting Started with Godot completely for free. And then head on back over here, pick up the bundle, use my link down below. It does help support me, but let's move on. All right, so the Dev 1 release. Not a ton new stuff here. We're going to show you a couple of things in action first off. Now, this is the free Epic Games Unreal Engine asset exported out to run in the Godot game engine. And you're going to notice here, we have a small little issue going on here with this fabric here, this fabric cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for it. So instead of fixing it, because why would I want to fix anything? I'm going to go ahead and hide it. So what you'd normally do is come in here and click hide, and so on. But now you can do this. Just click once and then drag across all of them. That is lovely. It's actually going to be one of those really dangerous things that you could do by accident, you know, if you just happen to be holding down the mouse button. But you could now drag across and toggle visibility. I love that. Now, another thing that we've got going on here, and again, I like this, but I can understand how some people may not. When you take a look at a list, like here, I got all these little prefabs going on here, and then you start scrolling down. So when you're in a header category, again, like this prefab header, and we have more than one visual screen worth of scrolling, now it will pin it. So you see it pins up the top level thing, and this will do it nested. So if you've got a bunch of layers down, it will keep basically going, and it'll pin that topmost layer. But you see here, as we scroll, it will keep the top level there always pinned. I personally like this change. I can understand how some people may not. It's going to be polarizing, I think. And they're still tweaking how it's going to work. We'll get to that when we get to the release notes in just a second. And then another big thing that they've done, a previous release just recently added the new game window. You can go ahead and run and preview your game running here. Well, what they've done is a reorg of it. So this whole top toolbar has been cleaned up, and it makes a lot more sense. And then over here, you're going to see these settings have been moved into a toggle over here. And another thing that they've done is they start by default now run embedded. So it used to be run in a separate window. Now it'll run directly here. So here, I've quickly added a camera to my scene so I can go ahead and run it, which, by the way, was beautiful because I could just come up here to root. It's always available now. So I think, actually, I like this pinning option. So I came in here, added a new camera like so, and I'm going to go ahead and rerun our game. And then you're going to see, again, default, it is going to run in the embedded window like so. And then once that is done, there we go. And then your options are expanded down here. So if you want to stretch to fit, you go ahead and set it up there. And then the toggles of the input toggle, so you could only be 3D or 2D. It's more clear now. Or you could be in input modes where I can go ahead and select things. Lovely changes there. Just kind of makes the game window just a better experience to work with. All right, so that's it for the hands-on portion. I'm going to go back here. So Dev Snapshot 4.8 Dev 1. Again, first release, we normally see 5 or 6 of these, and that's all of the new features we can expect in the next version of Godot. You can go ahead and try these, but I highly recommend, again, do not use these in production. So we now have docked game view by default, and then the simplified toolbar. So you can see the old toolbar over here, and the setup for it, and then the new one, and then all the toggle modes, instead of being put into the sub thing, are in clear buttons over there. It's nicer. It's a good reorg. It makes more sense. I like it there. And I also think that embedded makes more sense to be the default option. So I do appreciate that one. So it's only available by default for new projects. Existings need to manually edit this, by the way, the support in. Then we got here, support drag toggle visibility in the scene. So again, just hold down your mouse, hover over the things that you want to hide them or show them, and they pop up or down. Again, I can see some people definitely doing this by accident and being confused as hell, but I do like it. It is the number of times that I go through and go click, 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 click. This is going to be just a small quality of life thing, but it is going to be an improvement for sure. We also have 3D viewports can now override grid map accesses. So 3D viewports enabling them to dynamically override the grid map editor access through the new edit option, all viewport override. So I believe what this will allow you to do is go, so grid map now works on a 2D plane. So this will enable you to actually, I think, go on a 3D plane as well when placing things. Then we've got pseudo localization preview here. So this is around the accessibility stuff. You're doing multilingual stuff. You can now come in here and toggle it on. So view, preview translation, pseudo localization, and you can see the localization that you are working with. So if you're working with multiple languages, should be a good quality of life things for people doing translations layers there as well. And of course, we got the GUI sticky tree. So again, when you've got, when something expands down, so you see how VBox handler controller is being pinned, scene controller is always pinned. So everything in the hierarchy is always available. Again, this also works on the file system level. So it's in scene view and file system. Any of the tree view functionality have this ability. It is automatically, so it would be kind of cool if you could do like right click and pin stuff as well, so you could keep something manually pinned. But it's, again, I just found myself accidentally when I came back here to add a camera, I need to always navigate back to the root scenes. A lot of times I find myself coming in here, scrolling all the way up. So having the top level thing automatically pinned, it actually already came in useful to me. So I do like this change, but certain trees that have above average nesting, it might have a net negative experience with sticky headers. This will be hard-coded exception in the meantime as we investigate configurable minimums. So this is going to be tweaked slightly in how it is implemented going forward. And then on the GUI side of things, both text edit and code edit now have touch support. So tap, press and release positions the cursor, opens the virtual keyboard, drag, scrolls the text contents, and then double tap selects a word, double tap hold and drag selects the portion that you are currently hovering over. So if you are implementing a mobile title, this is going to be a lot nicer to do, especially if you're making an application. So again, you now have text edit and code edit touch support. And then on top of that, fuzzy search and fuzzy search match. Fuzzy searching is the practice of search results returning matches similar to the past query rather than only returning an exact match. The functionality has been added as part of the core engine for nearly 2 years at this point in service of our quick search. However, there were functionality remained where the functionality remained ever since, never actually being exposed to our binding API. Now, courtesy of regular contributor, this is functionality available, ready to roll out for all users. So if you want to use fuzzy search in your own extension or add-on or whatever, that functionality is available to you, and then a number of other fixes here as well. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first new features that we should expect to see in Godot 4.8. Again, these are dev, no guarantees that these will make it in, but the track record is like 99% of features tend to make it through to the final release, unless there's like some kind of a major, it just doesn't work out, or there's a block of some kind. They generally do make it through. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Godot 4.8. Once again, there is also this course going on over the Bundle Foundry that even has a free tier. So again, if you want to check out and see if you like GameDev TV stuff, perfect opportunity for you. And otherwise, a number of courses on Godot available there as well if you want to go ahead and check those out. And again, if you do, it does help support me, and I appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Godot 4.8 Dev 1. What do you think of the new features? Let me know. Comments down below. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.